Good afternoon, students. This is Dr. Morgan Phenix coming to you from Stanley, Virginia. It's a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. We're going into week 7 now. This course is almost over. There's nothing unfamiliar here, and I hope you've used week 5 and 6 to get a little bit ahead on your final project. But here we go. For week 7, the case study number 2 is the prime thing on your desktop. Alrighty, and it's a choice of one of 3 case studies. One of Dan, which is a disciplinary issue. One of Emily, which is a severe and profound disability issue, special education. And of Robert, which is a cultural sensitivity and bullying issue. And choose the one that resonates for you personally. If you're not quite sure how to proceed with a case study number 2, where do you get your best information from? Go back and look at my comments on your case study number 1. It is basically the same thing. These are a bit more difficult than Serge Romanich. With Serge Romanich's case, you had most of the details right in front of you. You could go back and look, and of course, not everybody recognized all of the details. The specific scores on the nonverbal tests were so critical to the school psychologist's misunderstanding and your understanding, for those of you that cited those scores, the Woodcock-Johnson nonverbal portion and the lighter. Okay, those are really, really important, and those are the key, as much a key as were Mrs. Evans for her cultural sensitivity, Mrs. Romanich, mom, for her support of her son and her knowledge that she had that they did not really want to take into consideration, and Mr. Sims. Most of you, or many of you, missed even mentioning Mr. Sims, who is supposed to be the leader of the school, and everything good flows from good leadership. And of course, he welcomed them to the school, welcomed Serge, placed him age appropriate, which was probably inappropriate in itself, and assured them that everything would be fine, and then he disappeared. Okay, and that's a little bit of a clue for the case study number 2. There are many things that are not visible, okay, but that common sense tells us should be part of the case study. All right, I want to give you one encouragement. Oh yes, the documents that you are referring to are simply the case studies, the 3 of them. You'll choose one of them. Okay, and there are some very brief questions at the end of each, and I would use them in the summary portion of the assignment. Once again, 3 parts: the summary, the SWOT, and the case recommendations. And please put the SWOT and the case recommendations in list format or outline format. I would like to give you an encouragement to begin any one of these 3 case studies with a single word. And I'm going to give you that word to begin in your very first sentence, and it will really direct you. For the case study of Dan and discipline, begin the first sentence with the word Dan. So, you get it? Okay? It's a case study about him and about his school and the programs there and the teachers and the parents, if you know much about them. And take that as a clue as well. And case study number 2, in Emily's best interest, I would begin my case study with the word Emily. Okay? That way you will not get sidetracked by a general, informative introduction about special education and severe and profound and least restrictive environment and those kinds of things. It's about Emily, and about the school that she goes to, the classes she's in, the things that she does, the people who interact with her, and the programs that could or could not assist her. And likewise with Robert. Robert's case is a very, very difficult one to tackle, and I'll add extra points just for anybody who takes that case, because it's a really hard one. It has things to do with the school board as well. But please begin the case study of Robert, and the cultural sensitivity and bullying case with the word Robert. Okay, Robert, about him. Or if you want to make an adjustment to that first sentence, instead of saying Robert is, or Robert was, or Robert finds himself, say something about Robert's school. But we're still talking about Robert then, and Robert's program. Alrighty, and likewise with Dan. It could begin with Dan's school. That's enough. Okay, case studies, and look for case study number 2, and look back at my notes on your case study number 1, and you will do as well, if not better, than how you did in case study number 1. For the looking ahead to week 8, the diverse school proposal part 2, you should be well along with that. I've had some good questions about it. If you are doing the PowerPoint option, you can do a straight essay. If you do a straight essay, you have 8 headings. Okay, title page. You probably want to put that on there, because this is a document that will be in your professional file in LiveText. More on that later also for week 8. But there are 8 headings. So in a text format, essay format, make sure you have those 8 headings, and that way you won't miss out on 20 points. It's 20 points for each and 10 for the mission and vision. If you do a PowerPoint, I've had questions, how many slides? Alrighty. I would say that if you had fewer than 8, something was probably missing. You have to have probably a minimum of 8 slides, 1 for each of the headings, and then a title, and then most likely your demographic data at least will be reference material, and you want to cite that. So probably 8, 9, 10 slides would be a minimum. When the maximum is another story. If you have very, very good speaker's notes and slides with almost no text on them, you can have 15 or 20 or 25 slides, and people won't even really notice it because they will be following the picture and their emotions will follow along. If you are reading text off of a screen, which is a reflection of a bad PowerPoint, but if you're reading text off a screen, if you go over 12 or 13 slides, you will lose your audience. Alrighty, put the notes and the details in the speaker's notes in bullet point format or list format, just to remind you what to say as you present the PowerPoint. Alrighty, you will be and once again here, just so you see it, don't forget the screenshot. For text or PowerPoint, either one is fine. I really enjoy the PowerPoints in a special kind of a way because they typically are very colorful. And go back and look in week number 2, I think it was, there are some samples there. But again, minimal text on the screen, details in the speaker's notes, that makes you the expert in the room. And yeah, that's period. You see it right there. Alrighty, the expert in the room. And you will be uploading and submitting your final project in live text. That's where the rubric is. That's where the points attached to through the rubric. And then, but also, I would like to ask you to also upload the part 2, the final project, in Blackboard as well, because your total score, your total points are they reside in Blackboard. Alrighty, I think that's it. I think that's all I have. There was that question about a special option for week number 8, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, for the journal article critique, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and look in one of the earlier videos. It's a special option to save you some time, but be sure you put that designation at the top of your journal article for week 8 if you were accessing that option, that this is a revision of week number such and such, and how many points you were awarded for that one. But that's about it for now. Alrighty, I hope you're having a good time in this course. It is winding down to the end. I hope you're reading the devotional at the beginning of each of the week's announcements. Those are really, really important words, I think. It gives me an opportunity to think over what's most important with regard to those foundational principles of the School of Education. Love doing this course. I got another dog right here. I think there's one back on the... Hey, Lassie? Yeah, see, there's one back there. She's watching for anything that might come up the drive lane, and that's Lassie, and that's my dog. And then we have, of course, Gracie here, who's a special needs dog for her hindquarters there. Any questions? Shoot me an email. I try to reflect them back to everybody. I hope that's been helpful to you. Okay, we'll see you again next time. We have these 2 last weeks to go, so I'll see you next week for the last time, Lord willing, if we make it that far. And I wish you the best. I hope it's been a good experience so far. Make these final projects really something that serve your mission and the Lord's call upon your life. God bless you all. We'll see you next time, Lord willing. Bye-bye.